Hello everybody and welcome to a Vampire the Masquerade Bloodlines 2 Thoughts and Opinions video. I haven't been able to get super deep into the game, but I wanted to just kind of let my thoughts be known, and so I wanted to just kind of post this quick little video letting people know what I think about the game. Of course, let me know what you think about the game down in the comments below, but let's go into the positives first. Personally, I enjoy the story. It has a very interesting mystery to it, bit of a noir vibe, and the fact that you get to play a bit as Fabien for these flashback sequences, though they do sometimes come off as a bit flat and quick, they are overall very interesting and fun to play. I do wish that maybe they were a bit longer or more in-depth, but that's just maybe one of the extra negatives that we can tack on. The characters are very interesting, they're very well written, I find anyway. Of course, they each have their own little flaws of maybe being a little bit too one-dimensional. Lou Graham is very elegant and suave. She's very aristocratic, and therefore you kind of have to do the general kissing up. You have to be very eloquent yourself, you know, lots of pleasantries, play the court, and the court doesn't play you. Of course, you have Benny, who's a little bit of a tough, you know, rough and tumble guy, so you have to be more serious and more rough with him in order to really get his respect. So again, characters can be kind of two-dimensional or even one-dimensional with just how straightforward they are. The big thing though is combat. The combat is very in-depth. There is obviously a lot of combinations with abilities, though it does take kind of a while to get them, which is probably the biggest issue. You obviously get all of your clan abilities pretty quickly, your specific clan abilities, but then when you want to start branching out, it starts to get a little slower. It takes more skill points, it takes the resonance, it takes a lot of feeding to do. It's a bit slow, but the combat as a whole is pretty fun. It's very chaotic and it really makes you feel tough, allowing you to really flex your claws as an elder, as it will. The ambiance, the sound design, the just overall visuals for the environments are very well done. It's a very cool cityscape with snow and just this general oozing of atmosphere, as it will. Though, of course, with that high atmosphere and just how interesting the areas are, it does kind of make you long for an even bigger map. The map does feel kind of small, but in comparison to Bloodlines 1, it's not much different. I think technically some people have said it's actually bigger, which it does feel bigger. But the fact that you can climb on rooftops and glide and do these long jumps with your vampiric sprinting is a very cool, fun exploration. It really makes you delve deep into the fact that you are an elder vampire. Now, on to the negatives. In return for that combat, there is little to no RPG elements. There is no character sheet. You cannot level up your seduction. You cannot level up your technical lockpicking or your hacking, because that does not exist. You do not hack, you do not lockpick, and overall your character just generally seems to be very straightforward. If you have to break into some place, you either have to find another way around, such as through a rooftop, or you have to break open a lock by just pulling off the chain. There's no real interaction with documents, though you can find things for codexes, which I guess is kind of a plus. Overall though, due to the fact that there's very little to interact with, it does kind of make things feel a little flat. Another major negative that people could see is the side quests. Now, to be fair, as I've said, I have not played this game for very long, but the side quests for me have been a little lacking. It's been a delivery, a hunt for a guy, and then hunt an anarch guy. None of the side quests have really screamed interesting yet, unlike Bloodlines 1, which had a very interesting series of side quests, meeting unique characters, and generally just adding interest to the game. The second game though, the side quests are very ignorable. The only reason you would really do them is just for that boost of XP, or boosting maybe your reputation with a character. The negative of not having the character sheet as well does make it so that your skill tree is basically just a line mixed with the fact that you can learn other clans' abilities. If you're playing as a slumber, you can learn how to play as a Toreador by getting their passive if you unlock all the other abilities, and it does allow for a lot of mixing and matching, which is very nice, but it can feel lackluster when you're really hoping to enhance other skills or play entirely charismatic. Generally, you will always be engaging in combat either through brute force or stealth. The biggest flaw, though, and the reason why I have not played Vampire the Masquerade Bloodlines 2 very much, is the bugs. The bugs and the unoptimization, I think, have created a combination of making this game somewhat game-breaking. I have seen posts online where if you reload a certain save, you can actually lose collectibles. They just won't show up because the game, for some reason, thinks that you already picked them up. And when you reload that save, they don't show up anymore, so you can just no longer finish that. I have seen a bug where people fall through the floor. They do the old-fashioned no clip and just keep falling through the floor. Every time they reload, they just keep falling. So they would have to load an even further load back. Speaking of loads, there's no manual saves. So even if you're somebody who's like very methodical, oh, I enter a building, I save. Oh, I exit this building, I save. I do a quest, I save. You can't do that. It's entirely up to the game to autosave. It creates a very rough combination of the game is buggy and you can't save. So you can't catch something before and then reload. I myself have had the bug of no NPC is around on the streets, which is game breaking because one of the missions that I have to do is I have to find 3 melancholic individuals with 3 melancholic blood resonances. Basically, there are 3 different blood types that you can find. One of them is melancholic. It has them glow blue. Little technical terms, but that's not the real major point here. The major point is that there's no one there. Because there is no one there, I would have to reload a save where I'd have to do multiple side quests again. Now, a lot of people would just say, well, just do that. Why aren't you doing that? Just fix it that way. The reason I don't want to do that is because if it just bugs again, I'm gonna be stuck right back at square one. Overall, it has taken a little bit of wind out of my sails for the game, which is why I can honestly say that I enjoy the game for what I have played, but the game has some very big flaws. I would not say that this is a Game of the Year edition game. It is fun. I will say that I have had fun with the game, but the problem is that I can no longer have fun with the game because the game is broken. Now, of course, these things will probably be patched. You know, maybe in a week's time, they'll fix the game. I'll be able to play it again and maybe do a more further review. Maybe not a 100%, oh, I did everything in the game, but just enough to be like, oh, I beat the game. I'll let you know what I've all witnessed. Overall, the game is enjoyable, but there is that heavy warning that I did want to kind of share, is that the game has that flaw of bugs and unoptimization. It is a major concern, and it would be the major reason why I would say to wait for a sale or just for some patches to come out. Again, I don't want this to be a major deterrent because I think a lot of people will find fun in the game. It's just a fun AA game to kind of turn your brain off, do some stealth kills, do some vampire stuff, explore the story, and don't really overthink it too much. Which I feel like in modern day gaming, there's a lot of people that feel like every game has to be a 10 out of 10. And for good reason. When a game costs $60, $70, or even $90 due to, you know, the basic edition, deluxe edition, and premium edition, you obviously want to save money. I, of course, cannot tell you how much this game is worth. As of right now, I wouldn't say that it's worth $60, but maybe within a patch, the game will feel a lot better. Maybe they'll kind of fix some of these bugs, and the game will overall feel a lot more enjoyable for myself. Obviously, it is, again, a major blow to the factor of my enjoyment because the game is broken and I can't progress. I could start a new character, as the game doesn't have save files, but it does kind of keep track of your saves. You can reload back to, you can reload pretty far back with an autosave. But again, I don't want to have to remake a character just to suffer the same bug. It's something that I would hope is easily fixed in the future. If I had to rate the game myself, do I think it is a 1 out of 10 or a 10 out of 10? I would probably give it just a good old average, like 6, 7. Of course, once the patches come through, maybe fix some of the bugs, it is an enjoyable game. It has a story that's intrigued me. It has fun characters. It has a good combat system that is at least semi-enjoyable. There are issues with it, of course, but again, it's a game that I feel like you just don't want to really think too hard on. Obviously, this creates a lot of diversity, though, with the community because Bloodlines 2 is attached to it. I still believe firmly, though, that this should not be considered Bloodlines 2, and that is going to hurt your opinion on the game. It shouldn't be called Bloodlines 2. The reason it's called Bloodlines 2 is probably just because it was made for Bloodlines 2, but then it went through the development issues that it did, and they just didn't feel like changing it. I have no clue, but if you get into this game, do not think it's like Bloodlines. Overall, though, that's kind of just my quick thoughts and opinions. I'm sure I've left out some details that I could cover more on, but again, I just kind of wanted this to be a quick little video just to kind of let people know. Something else that I wanted to reiterate is that I will be doing the rest of the clans, but there's not a lot of clans in Bloodlines 2, so we might just be using some other footage or just kind of use Bloodlines 2 as background footage. Let me know what you think down in the comments, but above all, let me know what you think about Bloodlines 2. Let me know how the game is faring for you. Are you experiencing any bugs? Are you experiencing any issues? Is this everything that you had hoped for? Let me know down in the comments. I'd love to hear your guys' thoughts and opinions myself. Understandably, this game is very divisive, and I 100% understand if you are not enjoying this. Feel free to share your opinion anyway. I understand that, you know, people are going to have different opinions. That's all good. It's obviously just being respectful about it. You know, I myself am having fun, but I'm sure other people are saying, that's crazy, this game sucks, you know, but let me know why you think it sucks. Is it just because it's Bloodlines 2 and it should be more like Bloodlines 1? Is it just because of certain elements? Let me know what you think. Overall, though, if you've enjoyed this video and you want to hear more thoughts and opinions videos, let me know. Of course, you can always like the video, share it around with friends and family. We do some lore videos. We do some Let's Plays. Don't forget to subscribe too if you want to stay notified and just help support the channel more. I can't thank you guys enough for doing it. It really means a lot. And hopefully I see you all in the next video. See you then.